Darkwind is a cruel and unforgiving world. It is a world of sword and spear, blood and sand, greed, death, and slavery. There is no magic to be found on this world, aside that possessed by visitors from other times. Time travelers known as demons come to this world to enact duels with one another. Sometimes relics from these duels remained. Guns, magic artifacts, and gear from the future, the likes of which could cause the rise and fall of entire nations. The biggest exploiter of this was the Black Ash Syndicate, speculated to control those who truly rule this land. Their leader, Dimitri, was a man who loved two things in life: demonic artifacts and tournaments. He collected both talent and technology to exploit. Behind closed doors, he convened with demons. In public, he declared his big tournaments. The Black Ash Tontines were battle royales all across Darkwind, where only one walked away to inherit the wealth of the others. But now things have changed. Dimitri has died. The stage is set, the die is cast. Nay, for in the ground Dimitri lay. The play of Black Ash strikes curtain call, but a legacy left, may fate change all. A will writ by pen and a pen of pigs to take what's theirs. Black Ash woman and men dream to inherit Dimitri's affairs. For them it was, however, not, as a final tontine was begot. There is only one prize for one victor. Upon this the will could not be stricter. A fortune of gold and time, this grandeur far beyond mere words of rhyme. It was the Black Ash inheritance, a treasure of which could change the fate of the world. Unaware what true fortune the treasure possess, lords assembled their champions and prayed for success. Little did vultures ever know, the treasure to them will never show. 'Tis fortune earned for victor to keep, theirs to harness as their patrons weep. 8 souls sent to the island today, lost in a maze, through woodlands they stray. The trees of this wood enshroud their prize, they see who lives, they see who dies. But caution, warriors, there are hazards within. A demon roams as a weakling sin. There's a darkened night, and a teacher of ideal, and a titan who awaits with a heart of steel. The stage is set, the die is cast, the final tontine is here at last. Hello, I am Rossil Fuel. I'm a VTuber who's currently focused on YouTube, but will be returning to streaming soon, hopefully. Historically, myself and my creation, MaceNet Astra, have streamed tournaments in a game called Totally Accurate Battle Simulator. In my own and some of my community's opinion, the coolest of these tournaments was the Black Ash Tontine. These were a realistic format where death could come in one hit, projectiles were restricted, and muskets took 30 seconds to reload. This is the final ever Black Ash Tontine, and likely the last ever piece of Tabs content to ever grace this channel. I don't expect it to do numbers, but this is more a goodbye and a closure for the community that remembers. So this tourney was played a little bit differently to the other tourneys of the time. A lot of the older tournaments were quite linear in fashion, with some random dice rolls pre-tourney. This time around, all the characters are actually persistent on a map. So they have actual locations, and players would actually direct their character around the maze. NPC characters would roll dice, and player characters actually chose where to go. But what's worth noting is that players were not told what to expect from this tourney, or what the maze would look like. Instead, they were fed images of what their characters could perceive before they took their turn, as well as any description of the sound, smell, or sensation they felt. So they only saw the maze through images like what you see on these screens here. As a big reveal to those who participated, this is what the maze looked like. Yeah, that's the maze. This is actually something Mason, my predecessor, had planned for ages as a scenario for a different format called Marth RPG, and then later a project called Levo, which both got cancelled. This maze is actually an elaborated version of the 1973 Hunt the Wumpus cave layout, which is a game that is a little bit vintage at this point. It's a layout that's perfect to both feel like the hunter and the hunted, relying more on description than a cohesive sense of direction. The objective was to get to the center and find Dimitri's treasure. That, or kill all the other participants. Little did the players know, there were also events that would happen midway through this tournament, and a time limit as well. But we'll talk about each facet of the game as they become relevant. So, without further ado, let's see the contestants. The first two to arrive at the island were two ex-militaries from the Nemesis Badlands. A hero and an icon known as Captain Ganel and her latest sidekick, Grav. She was nominated by Nemesis to try and claim Dimitri's unknown fortune. Nemesis is a nation built on hardship, bloodshed, and slavery, known for its fighting pits. The benefactors were hoping the prize for victory would be a fortune for expanding the Nemesis territory. But she just hoped the prize would be a way out. She didn't want to be a hero for the Nemesis anymore. She hated them. Grav was just there for the ride. Like any of the other 10 sidekicks she had, his only desire was to be the first to outlive her. The next duo to arrive were Crab and Bushido, fresh from the Clash arena. They barely knew each other. Crab was a revolutionary of the Chaoticans, sick of the imperialist nature of the world's nations, the exploits of the rich, and the prudishness of its peoples. But he was one day imprisoned and shoved into an arena, and now the same people are shoving him into this tontine. Bushido, on the other hand, was a great Serenite warrior who joined the Clash arena to be a gatekeeper for newer talents. He came for the challenge and cares not for the prize. Our third duo is made up of Sir Reuben Pork and Benvolio Pitmaster. Reuben was a dishonored duelist. He was a big name in the Greyfair dueling society, but never recovered from a humiliating loss to a Sir Jonathan Tabbs. He was here to reclaim his lost honor. Benvolio Pitmaster is another competitor of Nemesis origin. The Pit Lord became a name of great repute among the gladiator community, but the man was tired. Like Captain Ganel, he wanted to be away from the Nemesis. But before ending his career, he intended to use whatever fortune he found to leverage freedom for the to-be gladiators of the pits, the literal children enslaved by the Nemesis, destined to die in its sands. The final duo was the most unusual Paddy Bowerman and Boris Funch. Paddy Bowerman was a strongman at a traveling circus, but recently he's been more of a sideshow and an assistant. It hurt his confidence. He needed something, anything, to prove the old boy still has it. Boris, on the other hand, was an artist. She was famous for her works that were hung in the houses of nobles. They were known for their glorification of war. Boris, like many of the souls here, felt a change of heart and wanted to leave behind a life before her. Atonement was her goal, and whatever was on this island would help her achieve it. Whoever selected a strongman and an artist to find a Black Ash inheritance was a madman. Half of the competitors were brought to the outskirts of the maze, walked out of some caves that were promptly sealed shut and separated from anyone else. The other half were brought to a tower in middle of the maze. All crammed into the same area, they can choose if they want to run to another area or stay and fight to get the view from the top of the tower. And so, the competition began. A clarion called, and the competitors set into motion. From here, the competitors had around 30 minutes to find a treasure, a fact they did not know. None of the competitors around the tower held their ground. Paddy, the absolute barrel of a man, headed to room 1. Little did he know, he was being watched. Now, along with moving from area to area, another option characters had was to hide. which makes them invisible to anyone entering their room. The person hiding here was not a direct competitor of the tourney. Their name was Dr. Bodick, the face of the Chaoticans. At the tower, Crab sprints southeast and Benvolio gives chase while Grav walks after them. Crab turns, Benvolio makes space, and Grav enters. All three were to fight. Benvolio and Crab lock eyes and immediately turn on each other. Crab closes the distance and smashes him with metal claws. The Pitmaster's helm flies off, leaving just Crab and Grav. Grav did not care to be approached. As per the rules of the tourney, Grav could not simply kill them when unconscious. They were to be left. However, they had a chance to die from the wounds of their fight either way. So characters actually had an invisible health bar with 20 health each. It would instantly drop by 5 if they fall in combat, and lower for 1 from every single fight they have from sheer tiredness. It could also lower by other amounts according to other factors like environment, and as their health lowered, it had a chance to affect their HP in combat, their attack speed and power, their movement speed, and even their chance to get up while downed, most importantly. All of those who started on the outskirts moved inwards. All except Bushido, who performed the wait action. Now, the wait action allows players to switch to another equipped weapon. It is worth noting that Bushido, along with Crab, were controlled by my AI assistants, Cath and Ray. Paddy Bowerman, after hearing the clattering of armor plates, headed towards the noise. Bodick watched him leave. He encountered the duelist, Sir Reuben Pork. Paddy fought with his fists, Reuben an iron-shod staff. But he has for years learned to wrestle in heavy armor. And it shows. Something shattered inside Paddy, and the fight was over. Now is when another non-competitor enters the story. His name? The Black Knight. He starts in room 1, but is not active. He triggers when someone else walks in there, i.e. Paddy. From there, he goes to room 2, then 10, then patrols clockwise, waiting 1 turn on room 15, before beginning the cycle again. Unfortunately, the very moment he was activated, he stumbled southwest right in to Captain Gunnell. Captain Gunnell got bonked. Maurice the artist heads northwest, slap bang into the path of a battle-hungry duelist. Reuben Pork was practically shaking with excitement. He even tore off his armor and drew his sword. It ends about as well as it could for her. As Reuben continues his rampage to the west, so too does the Black Knight in the east, stumbling across Crab, who has only just woken up. The Crab shell was promptly cracked open. Benvolio wakes up after his beatdown from Grav. He hears the fight between the Black Knight and Crab ahead and holds his ground. He lightens his armor and prepares some bombs. He suddenly hears a voice to his right, telling him that the treasure is that way. He ignores it, suspecting a trap. From the north, Dr. Bodick, the Chaotican leader, hoping to find allies, heads southwest into the room where Reuben just cut down Maurice and Paddy Bowerman. But Reuben is nowhere to be seen. Bodick took one look at Paddy. He was gone. Bodick then took a look at Maurice and found hope. They treated Maurice's wounds. She would have otherwise died. Turns out Reuben was actually hiding in the bushes nearby and decides Bodick is dishonoring the contest. Scratch free for Reuben. In the meantime, Captain Gunnell comes across a sign, tells her the treasure is 2 areas away and to the southeast from where she is. It also warns of a demon arranged to appear shortly into the contest, starting from the north. Now, up into the farmost north, a fifth cave stands. One where no competitors started from. Until now. As if on demand, at this exact moment, a demon arrives. A time traveler from another world. His name, Axel Shadow Reaper. He was utterly detested in the universe he comes from, and will be utterly detested here too. He carried weapons from another world. Guns. Any who meet him will surely die. His objective was to clean up. He cared not for the treasure. Any characters he was adjacent to would get an extremely worried feeling, which would act as a warning for players to move away for fairness' sake. Because meeting him is death. In the west, Berese wakes up. She draws her secret weapon, a flintlock. But she rises to find that Ruben is already gone. The barrel is dead, but she yet lives. To the east, Benvolio heads into an ambush. Crab rises once more, but this time, Benvolio is using bombs. Crab is obliterated. In the south center ring of the maze, Grav stumbled across yet another interloper. Mason Ap Astra. A demon who arrived many years ago, but lost all his power. It's unknown why he's here, but it is known that he is not trustworthy. It is also known that he is very, very weak these days. He gets clobbered, then Grav hides. Moving on. Now, Captain Gunnell actually finds her way into the central building, but she is unsure about the giant pit in the middle. It looks like a trap to her, so she heads outside one of the doors to find more forest. To the southeast, Ruben has found yet another big, meaty challenger. He got in the way of the Black Knight's patrol. Thankfully, he put his armor back on beforehand. The rampaging Ruben Pork cannot be stopped. After felling the knight, he hears footsteps and the closing of a door nearby. He heads towards the sound, and he finds a chapel of some kind. He decides to knock on the door, and the door opens, revealing a slightly beaten up Mason Ap Astra. Well, nice to see someone around here who doesn't try to kill me on sight. I'm guessing you're one of these so-called champions around here, looking for old Dimitri's treasure? Now, I'll tell you what, I'm not the best fighter around, but both of us would surely have a better chance of surviving this ideal if we work together, right? Ruben thought for a moment, then said, I'm here for honor, nothing else. What man would I be to collaborate with those meant to be my competitors? I will give you a choice, be it my staff or my sword, but I am challenging you to a duel, as it is my right as duel master and a competitor in this competition. Mason quickly steps back into the doorway at this. Oh, well, I'm not really in a competition. Shame. Tell you what, I'll tell you this much. Head north, take a right, and keep going forward. Hoil of Owl, the door slams shut. Ruben gets the idea to hide, perhaps to ambush Mason when he comes out, maybe to wait for someone else. Regardless, Mason sees him hide and shouts as loud as he can from the chapel. Hey everyone, get a load of this guy, over here, in the bushes. Watch out, Mr. Honorable here will ambush you and stab you right in the back. While Mason continues his relentless mockery, the Black Ash organizers, as arranged in Dimitri's well, set fire to the very outskirts of the forest, sending smoke into the air at minute 10 of the competition. Berese spots the sign Captain Gunnell found from earlier. Unfortunately, she's not great with directions and heads northeast. She stumbles across the tower the other competitors started at earlier. Unfortunately, she also stumbles across Bushido. Remember that guy? He left the starting location at the end. Neither competitor approaches the other, and instead a battle of projectiles occurs. The exchange takes a long time. But after a battle deep into the trees, Bushido lands the finishing blow. Barice's older wounds reopen, and she dies on the spot. Meanwhile, at the chapel, ooh, alarm, alarm! There's an honourable little backstabber hidden in the bushes next to the chapel. I'll be friends with whoever gets rid of him for me. Woo, woo! Whoa. Do you smell smoke? Just kidding. All I can smell is you. Shitting dicks, I am so funny. Ruben's still hiding, but heavily doubts that Mason's gonna give up anytime soon. All right. For the record, I was waiting for you. I care not for this treasure. This tournament is what matters to I. If I take you, I expect no more of this whining. With that, Mason comes out, teaming up with Ruben. But there's a disturbance. Something feels wrong. Very wrong. Extremely wrong. Both Mason and Ruben look at each other. Mason breaks the silence. Hold on. You feel that too, don't you? Oh shit. You've set me up. I'm screwed. Things were quieter for Captain Gunnell. After realizing the building was indeed the right place to be, she returns to the center of the maze and heads down the ladder in the middle. Ahead of her lays an ominous, dark corridor. She sees another sign ahead. This must be it. She must have found where the treasure was. But from above, she hears something. Something like a musket, but it fires altogether too fast. A demon's weapon. A demon had found Mason and Ruben. That demon, Axel Shadow Reaper, was come packing some serious futuristic heat. Both fighters made a brave charge. Both fell. Along the inner ring, Bushido was heading southeast. There's no one in sight, but there is a sound of gunfire. Bushido, distracted, doesn't notice the floor collapse beneath him. He lands in a spike trap. Captain Gunnell is currently hiding in the corridor. She's read the nearby sign. It mentions that a large, inhuman opponent lies ahead, and she's considering whether to wait for someone else to enter first to take the brunt of the fight. To the north, the Black Knight and Benvolio meet under the shade of the tower, both pretty beaten up already. The Black Knight came out on top this time. Grav, after coming out of hiding and letting the demon walk past, finds his way to the center building, as does Bushido. Combat ensues. Unfortunately, the noise of the fight attracted the attention of the demon. Neither Bushido nor Grav came out of this well. Only one of them will be getting back up. The demon went down the ladder to check the corridor. Fortunately, Macy was hiding. He leaves to continue his massacre. Unfortunately, in spectacularly bad luck, Grav gets up just as the demon returns to ground level. He attempted to hide, but was already spotted. Benvolio gets up one last time. his head gouting blood. His struggle was great, but he told himself it's nothing compared to the struggles of the arena children in Nemesis. The children were beaten, stripped of any joy, and trained well beyond their limits, just to die in the very arenas they grew up in when they are of age. Only through this could he push on. Now he climbed atop the tower. The center building was to his south. He also saw the movements of whoever was left. Lastly, he could also see just how fast the fire was moving into the forest. He headed southeast. It all came full circle. The first room he traveled to, where he was knocked out by Grav. A coughing, spluttering voice to his right rings out, just like when he recovered for the first time a while back. Hey, you! You should definitely come out over here, where the treasure is. It's over here. Yep. Over here. Come get it. Unless your name's Axel, then definitely don't come this way. Benvolio himself starts coughing his lungs out. They were already badly damaged, but the fumes coming from the fire was making breathing extremely hard. In the end, whether out of desperation to move away from the smoke, or delusion of injury, Benvolio followed the source of the voice. He predicted a trap, but seeing as there was no sign of the man speaking, things seemed to be in the clear. His journey was fraught with grave misfortune, one rueful step after another. But what was one more rueful step in this tontine, this trial of utter follies? Death. One more step was death. Too tired to notice the expertly composed trap in between the trees, Benvolio had fell victim to MaceNet Astra and his cold hospitality. For it was he who set this trap. Macy waits for a long time and starts to panic. She actually heads back up the pit and then goes outside, just to see if there's anyone she could potentially lure to the center building to fight whatever was in the treasure room. So she heads to the northwest and stumbles across another pit. This pit contained a body. Someone from Nemesis. She recognized the legendary pitmaster himself, and she sees a small piece of paper hanging from his corpse. She climbs down and looks closely. She sees it has a drawing on it. A child's drawing. And in a Nemesis script, it says the word hero. Captain Canal understood immediately what Benvolio was here for. She took a deep breath and storms back into the building. Whatever was in there, she would fight it alone. She heads back down, charges through the hallway, and walks through the door. Inside, a hoard of treasure worth more than every kingdom in the world combined awaited. But at the end was something even more incredible. A throne guarded by an armored figure. This figure was not made of flesh. There was no beating heart. This was a being purely made by the hands of another. This was the Titan of Darkwind. Captain Ganao steps fiercely up to the challenge. The Titan was vastly overrated. She approaches the throne. Upon the table is a manual. Macy skims through it. She's not good at reading the common Steel Grove script, but what she does understand shocks her. This throne turns all who sit upon it into demons. It was a device to navigate time itself, a device to change history, to shape the world of now and the future to however you see fit. The captain took her seat. She could not understand this machine. She could not comprehend these instructions, but in her own way, she understood what to do. She wanted to destroy Nemesis, to break it down and rebuild it from the inside out, to stop the pits and arenas from ever existing, to give the children of Nemesis at least a chance to live their own lives. She only wanted to be free herself, to find her own purpose, but now she has already found it, on a piece of paper held by Benvolio Pitmaster, a child's drawing. She activated the machine. She knew not how to use it properly, but one journey at a time, she would find her way to the past and change the future. The stage is set, the die is cast, nay. With curtain call, we end our play. Goodbye, Darkwind. Well, that's it. Thank you for watching till the end. I do hope you enjoyed it. That is likely the last ever tabs thing on this channel that we will ever feature. If you want more, go look on the backlog on this channel of the first 5 Maytabs tournaments, or go onto the MaceNet archive channel on YouTube to see full streams featuring a whole 17 tabs tourneys. This game has had a lot of history here, it really has. So it's quite something to say goodbye to it. But if you like this style of video, please do let me know in the comments below. And be sure to give me a like and subscribe should you be so inclined. The next video I've got planned is going to be a part 2 to a Kenshi story I'm running, which is a world that is very similar to Darkwind if you liked today's theming. Aside that, thank you very kindly for your time, and remember, where there's fire there's fuel, and where there's fuel there's always a good time. Goodbye.